Good day to all science students. In this video lesson, we are going to tackle about the sexual and asexual reproduction. Okay, these are the essential questions or the objectives of our lesson. What is the fundamental difference between sexual and asexual reproduction? What is asexual reproduction and why is it beneficial? How do the types of asexual reproduction differ? Okay, let us define first what is sexual reproduction. It is the process of producing offspring with two copies of each chromosome by fertilization, the union of two cells that each have one copy of each chromosome. And asexual results in a clone of the parent, meaning the offspring have identical DNA as the parent. Okay, sexual reproduction occurs when a female gamete or sex cell unites with a male gamete. The offspring is a genetic recombination of the mother and the father. Half of the offspring's chromosomes come from its mother and the other half come from its father. This ensures the offspring are genetically different from their parents and even their siblings. So it has something to do with the crossing over in the meiosis process. So advantages of sexual reproduction. The main advantage of sexual reproduction is that offspring inherit half their DNA from each parent. Offspring are not likely to inherit the same DNA from the same parents. Different DNA means that each offspring has a different set of traits. This results in a genetic variation among the offspring and selective breeding. Genetic variation occurs in all organisms that reproduce sexually. Due to genetic variation, individuals within a population have slight differences. These differences might be an advantage if the environment changes. Some individuals might have traits that enable them to survive unusually harsh conditions such as drought or severe cold. Other individuals might have traits that make them resistant to a disease. So, letter B, selective breeding. Selective breeding has been used to develop many types of plants and animals with desirable traits. It is another example of the benefits of sexual reproduction. So, disadvantages of sexual reproduction. Although sexual reproduction produces more genetic variation, it does have some disadvantages. Sexual reproduction takes time and energy. Organisms have to grow and develop until they are mature enough to produce sex cells. Then the organisms have to form sex cells, either eggs or sperm. Before they can reproduce, organisms usually have to find mates. Searching for a mate can take a long time and requires energy. The search for a mate might also expose individuals to predators, diseases, or harsh environmental conditions. In addition, sexual reproduction is limited by certain factors. For example, fertilization cannot take place during pregnancy, which can last as long as 2 years in some mammals. Okay, self-pollination and cross-pollination in plants. In angiosperm, pollination is defined as the placement or transfer of pollen from the anther to the stigma of the same flower or another flower. In gymnosperm, pollination involves pollen transfer from the male cone to the female cone. Upon transfer, the pollen germinates to form the pollen tube and the sperm for fertilizing the egg. So self-pollination occurs when the pollen from the anther is deposited on the stigma of the same flower or another flower on the same plant. Cross-pollination is the transfer of pollen from the anther of one flower to stigma of another flower on a different individual of the same species. Self-pollination occurs in flowers where the stamen and carpel mature at the same time and are positioned so that the pollen can land on the flower's stigma. This method of pollination does not require an investment from the plant to provide nectar and pollen as food for pollinators. Pollinator examples are the bees and butterflies. The methods of pollination: pollination by insects. Bees are perhaps the most important pollinator of many garden plants and most commercial fruit trees. The most common species of bees are bumblebees and honeybees. Since bees cannot see the color red, bee-pollinated flowers usually have shades of blue, yellow, or other colors. So bees collect energy-rich pollen or nectar for their survival and energy needs. They visit flowers that are open during the day, are brightly colored, have a strong aroma or scent, and have a tubular shape. Typically with the presence of nectar guide. A nectar guide includes regions on the flower petals that are visible only to bees and not to humans. It helps to guide bees to center of the flower, thus making the pollination process more efficient. The pollen sticks to the bee's fuzzy hair, and when the bee visit another flower, some of the pollen is transferred to the second flower. Many flies are attracted to flowers that have decaying smell or an odor of rotting flesh. These flowers, which produce nectar, usually have dull colors such as brown or purple. They are found in the core flower of Orbodo lily, dragon arum, and carrion flower. The nectar provides energy, whereas the pollen provides protein. Wasps are also important insect pollinators and pollinate many species of figs. So butterflies such as the monarch pollinate many garden flowers and wildflowers, which usually occur in clusters. These flowers are brightly colored, have a strong fragrance, are open during the day, and have nectar guides to make access to nectar easier. The pollen is picked up and carried on the butterfly's limbs. So moths, on the other hand, pollinate flowers during the late afternoon and night. The flowers pollinated by moths are pale or white and are flat, enabling the moth to land. One well-studied example of a moth-pollinated plant is the yucca plant, which is pollinated by the yucca moth. The shape of the flower in moths have adapted in such a way as to allow success pollination. The moth deposits pollen on the sticky stigma for fertilization to occur later. The female moth also deposits eggs into the ovary. As the eggs develop into larvae, they obtain food from the flower and developing seeds. So we have another method of pollination by bats. Pollinators of nocturnal flowers such as agave, guava, and morning glory. The flowers are usually large and white or pale colored, thus they can be distinguished from the dark surroundings at night. The flowers have a strong fruity or musky fragrance and produce large amount of nectar. They are naturally large and wide-mouthed to accommodate the head of the bat. As the bat seeks the nectar, their faces and heads become covered with pollen, which is then transferred to the next flower. Pollination by birds. Many species of small birds such as the hummingbird and sunbirds are pollinators for plants such as orchids and other wildflowers. Flowers visited by birds are usually sturdy and are oriented in such a way as to allow the birds to stay near the flower without getting their wings entangled in the nearby flowers. The flower typically has a curved tubular shape, which allows access for the bird's beak. Brightly colored, odorless flowers that are open during the day are pollinated by birds. As a bird seeks energy-rich nectar, pollen is deposited on the bird's head and neck and is then transferred to the next flowers it visits. So we have another one, pollination by wind. Most species of conifers and many angiosperms such as grasses, maples, and oaks are pollinated by wind. Pine cones are brown and unscented, while the flowers of wind-pollinated angiosperm species are usually green, small, may have small or no petals, and produce large amounts of pollen. Unlike the typical insect-pollinated flowers, flowers adapted to pollination by wind do not produce nectar or scent. In wind-pollinated species, the microsporangia hang out of the flower, and as the wind blows, the lightweight pollen is carried with it. The flowers usually emerge early in the spring before the leaves, so that the leaves do not block the movement of the wind. The pollen is deposited on the exposed feathery stigma of the flower. So another one, pollination by water. Some weeds such as Australian seagrass and pond weeds are pollinated by water. The pollen floats on water, and when it comes into contact with the flower, it is deposited inside the flower. Okay, pollination by deception. Other orchids use sexual deception. It emits a compound that smells the same as the pheromone emitted by a female wasp to attract male wasp. The male wasp is attracted to the scent, lands on the orchid flower, and in the process transfer pollen. Some orchids like the Australian hammer orchid use scent as well as visual trickery in yet another sexual deception strategy to attract wasps. The flower of this orchid mimics the appearance of the female wasp and emits a pheromone. The male wasp tries to mate with that appears to be a female wasp, and in the process picks up pollen which it then transfers to the next counterfeit mate. So in a sexual reproduction, one parent organism produces offspring without meiosis and fertilization. Because the offspring inherit all their DNA from one parent, they are genetically identical to each other and their parent. So advantages of asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction enables organisms to reproduce without a mate. Asexual reproduction also enables some organisms to produce a large number of offspring rapidly. So, mas mabilis ang pagpaparami in terms of asexual reproduction, especially in plant. Disadvantages of asexual reproduction. Although asexual reproduction usually enables organism to reproduce quickly, it does have some disadvantages. Asexual reproduction produces offspring that are genetically identical to their parent. Another disadvantage of asexual reproduction involves genetic changes called mutation that can occur. If an organism has a harmful mutation in cells, the mutation will be passed to asexually reproduce offspring. This could affect the offspring ability to survive. So if we are going to compare the asexual and sexual reproduction in terms of number of organisms involved, in asexual reproduction, it needs only one parent. Unlike in sexual reproduction, two parents are required to mate. In cell division, cells divide by mitosis or fission, budding, or regeneration in asexual. While in sexual, cells divide by meiosis. Advantages in terms of asexual: time efficient, no need to search for mate, require less energy. In sexual reproduction, variation unique, an organism is more protected. Disadvantages: in asexual, no variation. If the parent has a genetic disease, the offspring does too. So in sexual reproduction, requires two organisms, requires more energy. Evolution: in asexual, there is a very little chance of variation with asexual reproduction. Unlike in sexual, it leads to genetic variation in new generations of offspring. This is fundamental to evolution. Involvement of sex cell, no formation of or fusion of gametes in asexual. In sexual, formation and fusion of gametes occurs. Found in asexual is lower organisms. In sexual is higher in vertebrates and all vertebrates and invertebrates. And unit of reproduction in asexual may be the whole parent body, a bud, a fragment, or a single somatic cell. While in sexual, it involves gamete. Time taken in asexual reproduction is completed in very short period of time. In sexual, it can take several months to complete or even years in some forms of animals. Number of offspring, 2 or more. In sexual reproduction is 1 or more. Hermaphroditism, hermaphrodite. The animals that undergo this process is the so-called hermaphrodite. Hermaphroditism occurs in animals where one individual has both male and female reproductive system. Invertebrates such as earthworms, slugs, tapeworms, and snails are often hermaphroditic. Hermaphrodites may self-fertilize, but typically, they will mate with another of their species, fertilizing each other and producing offspring. Self-fertilization is more common in animals with limited mobility or lack of motility, such as barnacles and clams. Many species have specific mechanisms to prevent self-fertilization because it is extreme form of inbreeding and usually produces less fit offspring. So let us now answer this activity. Alright, whether the provided characteristics can be found in sexual or asexual or both. Letter A, results in low genetic variation of the species, that is asexual. Results from combining of sperm in egg cell, that is sexual. Letter C, passes genetic information from one generation to the next. Okay, both. All members of the populations are genetically very similar and less able to survive environmental change, that is asexual. The offspring receive half their genetic makeup from each parent, that is sexual. Letter F, produces diverse offspring. Okay, same, sexual. One organism can continue the population of their species without a mate, that is asexual. Creates more individuals of the species, okay, sexual. Allows for more genetic variation. Require the fusion of the sperm and egg cell to make a zygote. Okay. Another one, decide which type of reproduction is being described by the following statement. Write A if it is asexual and S if it is sexual reproduction. Number 1, two parents contribute genetic information. Letter S. Offspring are exact genetic copies or clones of the parent. Letter A. Does not involve gametes. Letter A. Offspring are unique from their parents and from each other. Letter S. Okay, one parent contribute to the genetic information of the offspring. Letter A. Gametes from two parents' views. Okay. Reproduction is by forming new individuals that are released from the parent. Offspring have little to no genetic variation. This is letter A. Offspring receive little or no parental care. Okay, letter A. And last one, Parents tend to care for their young, increasing the chances that offspring will survive.